Now, you're used to me reviewing cheesesteaks, but to be honest with you, one of my favorite cheesesteaks is the one I make at home. Let me show you how I do it. Now, it all starts with the bread. You're going to want to get your hands on the best roll you can find, and depending on where you live, that could be challenging. Now, fortunately enough for me, I got plenty of options. I'm going with the seeded Sarcones roll. That's my favorite. Now, the onions are completely optional. If you like them on your cheesesteak, just make sure you get a nice small dice to them. I like to throw mine on the griddle and cook them until they look like that. Just don't forget to season them. For the meat, I'm using shaved ribeye, which I got at the store. Now, if you live in an area where you can't buy the pre-shaved ribeye, just grab a ribeye steak, throw it in the freezer for a couple minutes, and then cut it up nice and thin. Just make sure when you get that on the griddle, you season it well with salt and pepper. From there, the fun part begins. We're going to start to chop the steak up. Now, it's important that you don't over chop it. You don't want it to be like ground beef. And when it's fully cooked, if you're using onions, throw them in there, as many as you prefer. It's all about preference. I like a lot of onions on the cheesesteak, so that's what I'm mixing in. Now it's time for the cheese, and like the onions, it's all about preference. You can throw down American, provolone, whiz, mozzarella, Cooper Sharp. Completely up to you. My preference, though, Cooper Sharp. Game changer on a cheesesteak. Throw as much down as you'd like. Just make sure you use enough. And once it's melted, it's time to start getting that cheesesteak on the roll. You're going to want to pack it nice and heavy. Nobody likes a cheesesteak where it's 90% roll and a little bit of meat on there. We want good ratios. Take a look at that. That's what I'm talking about. And now it's time to take it in. We're going to cut it up and take a look at that cross section. And I want you guys to let me know what you think. Are you eating this one or not?